Welcome to the Female CEO podcast, hosted by Mark Sephton. You may know her name, but do you know her story? This podcast takes you behind the titles and into the moments that shape some of today's most inspiring women. We explore the paths they've taken, the businesses they've built, and how they've created success on their own terms. Created by the Female CEO Create, Evolve, Overcome, these are honest, human conversations, rooted in real experience. Let the journey begin.
Today, we are exploring a topic many ambitious women don't talk about enough: healing and reconnecting with ourselves while building successful lives and careers. I'm joined by Adina Andronic, founder of ARA Shamanic Healing. After a successful international career in industries like IT, banking, and insurance, Adina experienced a profound awakening that led her to a new path, helping others heal, release emotional blocks, and reconnect with their true selves. Her mission is to share her story, bring visibility to healing work, and inspire others on their own journey toward balance and wholeness. Adina, welcome to the Female CEO podcast.
Thank you, Mark. Very happy to be here.
It's great to have you here, and looking forward to the next 25-30 minutes as we dive in a little deeper. And I really believe that the work that you do is so important, especially as we become, I think, more and more aware of the need for healing, for growth, for needing to kind of take ownership and responsibility for our life.
Yes, healing is really something which looks to me like a hygiene of life. I learned that through my own life experiences. And I found in shamanic healing practice a way to connect with myself and to find as well solutions to various aspects of my life. So it can be professional or personal, relationship, or what we'd like to achieve in life. So there's many entries to this wonderful world, which is the shamanic healing and hypno-coaching.
Now, your journey for me is incredibly unique because you went from a successful corporate career across multiple industries to becoming a shamanic healer. What was that turning point for you that made you follow like this deeper calling?
I did a travel in India, and that's my starting point. I was traveling with colleagues, and there was someone there who told me about practices like rebirth and what he did for her. And when I came back from that trip, I went myself through a challenging time. And I remembered about that conversation, and then I found someone who helped me with a combination of practices, sophrology, Reiki, rebirth. And she mentioned to me as well her first shamanic experience. And that raised my curiosity. And when I arrived here in Canada, I've seen an advertising in a journal about shamanic training, and I wrote to that person, to the organizer of that training, and I had a very interesting dream at night where a bird came in my dream and touched my hands with its beak, and it was like the thunder strike, the feeling I got in my hands in my dream. And then in the morning, when I received the information from that person, it was a leaflet, and on the background of that leaflet, it was that specific bird. So exactly the shape and everything.
Okay.
And So that's how it raised my curiosity. So I didn't know at that time that being hit by a thunder, either in a dream, either in real life, it means a call for shamanic initiation. But yeah, so that was the starting point for me.
You know what bird it was?
Yes, so it was very interesting because I went to a demo session with that person, with other people. And when I entered in that room, he was at the entry of the door talking with someone, and he followed me in the room. And he told me that on the way there, he saw a bird and a hawk. And I was like, okay, but I didn't know why he told me that. And at the end of the session, when he handed over the leaflets to the other people, on the background of that paper, it was again the bird. And then I asked, what bird is that? And he said it's a hawk. So it was really interesting, all the synchronicities and the connections of messaging I received.
Yeah, and you see this, don't you, that when we go through life and we have a personal experience, it then drives our curiosity. And then we go from some self-exploration and we see firsthand the result, the benefit, and then it makes us then want to then offer that to other people.
Yes, so that's one of the key lessons of my life. So I'm calling myself as a joke. So I like to joke about. I just say that I'm a lazy shaman. I worked very hard in my life. So I worked while I was doing law studies, and I went through very intense professional times. So for me, it's the place where I relax per se. That's why I think it's the right approach to go in this world of the shamanic healing by curiosity and to experience it. And why I'm saying that I'm a lazy shaman, because I resisted to this call for years. And I always had the next experiences, which showed me that there's something out there to discover, to learn, and to connect with.
I like that. Many female CEOs are high achievers who push through stress and pressure. But from your perspective, Adina, how does unresolved emotional or spiritual imbalance really show up in the lives of ambitious women?
It's very interesting because it nurtures. So this part of me, it nurtured and it helped me grow in my professional life. It teach me balance as well, and it showed me aspects of resilience I didn't know before. From my cultural background and everything. So it was very interesting for me to discover how having, I don't know if we can call it for me awakening, but having an essential information received through this healing, how this translated in the rest of my life, including the professional life. So I feel I'm much more accomplished, successful, and resilient, resourceful in my professional life because I'm doing this kind of work, and because I learned so much through it about me, about how the world functions, and the challenges of life.
Now, shamanic healing is an ancient practice that many people may not fully understand. How would you go about explaining it to a modern businesswoman who may be curious about healing, but also very practical and grounded?
So there's so many things out there to learn in various ways, and I'm always grateful and very mindful as well about those who collected that information and shared it with us over time, which are the native people, right? So I think nothing replaces their wisdom and their ancestry and their knowledge. But other than that, I think it's a tool for any human being to learn about themselves. Um, And there's one key information I wanted to share in this session today. It's a big discovery for me, and it's funny. So it talks about there's one thing to know something and another to become aware of it or to live it.
Right.
And I knew about the medicine wheel for a long time, but I revisited some teachings by Alberto Villoldo, and it resonated so much to me years after. So the shamanic healing comes with the concept of the medicine wheel, which is instead of the linear time, right? So when you go in the from the perspective of the linear time, there are always things which are left in the past, right? And there's a strong connection to the past, or there's some regrets about things we did or we didn't do and things like that. Well, in the medicine wheel, there's so much hope because it's like a circular progress. And once you learned our lesson, there's another medicine wheel learning and things like that. So it's a nice progression, which it's rather more connected to the real rhythm of life. And I find it gives a lot of hope and understanding of how we can function in a more natural way and to have a more natural flow. So it's normal to have ups and downs, and it's normal to be more advanced on a topic of our life and maybe to be just beginner baby steps it's another part of our life. And that's what the medicine will teaches us.
Yeah, I like that. I think for me, the idea of being better than yesterday, of moving the needle forward, of advancement, it's all about hope. It's all about the fact that you do have the chance to evolve and to grow. So I like that. I've not heard of it, I don't think.
It's it's really something I translated in my own experience, the learning through Alberto Villoldo teaching, and it's really very recently that I get to this more in-depth understandings of it and how it applies to our own life. And there's another concept of the shamanic healing I wanted to share today, which refers to the traveling outside of time. So in shamanic healing, we travel outside of time. I heard that hundreds of times in all the teachings I've been attending. And I realized that in one shamanic journey, it was like a download of information. And what's happening? So when you go in shamanic healing, we get such insights and such download of information, where we achieve such a deep connection with ourselves that we learn all at once something which resolves a longing situation, a longing problem. So it would require many lifetimes sometimes to realize and to get to that realization, to that lesson. While we can get that in one single session, and that's what it means to travel outside of time. So we create a sacred space. We found ourselves in a space of no time. And then it's almost like we have access to everything about us. From the future, from the past, from the present. And this way we can go directly to that problem, which is the root cause of what we are trying to resolve or to understand.
I like that. It's a really interesting thought around traveling outside of time, because we're so governed to think a certain way. And sometimes I think the way that we look at things or the way we operate is often our biggest opportunity for freedom.
Absolutely.
Now, a lot of women leaders carry invisible burdens, as we all do, expectations, past trauma, or inherited patterns. How does your work really help people reconnect with maybe the parts of themselves that actually need to find healing?
That's a good question. I will share one of my first shamanic healing experiences, again, learning through my own experience. I did a session on a friend of mine, and through the session, she visualized some things, and I visualized some things about the root cause of her problem. And it was like she was prisoner of a spider. And I shared that visual with her, and it was almost as well like that person was refusing herself to eat. So she was very thin, and it was like she was having a problem with eating. And when I shared that with her, she that resonated with her. Her mom, which time she was calling her, was asking her if she gained weight because she was having a problem with that. And funny enough, I didn't know that background of her, but months after, she became pregnant for the first time.
Oh.
So it was such a wonderful understanding of how complex human beings we are, and how little things are connected to blockages we have in ourselves. And when that friend came back to me to tell me that, she said, Adina, I tried for so many years and I never got pregnant. It was like amazing to discover what we can do through this work for people, and how we can help them with really just a little boost sometimes to resolve really how to say, critical or very important life situations.
Yeah, it's crazy how we get in our own way. And obviously we hear about limiting beliefs, and I always think, whenever I think about limiting beliefs or the need to look at something different, I always think of that story I was told when I was a child, which was of a baby elephant that was in a circus, and it had a rope tied around both of its legs so it couldn't move, so every time it tried to pull away, the ropes just kept it in place. And then obviously over time, this baby elephant grows into a huge bull. But because of the fact of his experience, every time he moved his leg, the rope pulled, he stopped trying, and yet he could totally pull that whole tent out of the ground. And I think sometimes we need permission, or we're waiting for permission, or waiting for someone to tell us that we can actually get a different result. We can grow bigger than our problems.
Well, that's where the hypno-coaching comes into place. So through this work, someone can discover how much we are tied to cultural, family background, or even we call these programs. So everything which has been told to us, sometimes even like an expression we used to use in a particular culture, it can reflect as a program in our subconscious. And that's those ropes which are keeping us tight and preventing us to grow. And sometimes the connection, it's really very, so in the world of the subconscious, the connection, it's so unusual. You never know, or we can never guess what's the rope, in fact, and from where it comes. And I think, yes, as well, the most, sometimes it's not the strongest blockages or the strongest problems or challenges we have, which are the real rope. Sometimes it's very insidious, very little, very hidden somewhere in our past. We even don't think about it anymore. So
Yeah, that's very true. Those little blind spots that can sometimes be what holds us back. Now, Adina, you talk about the importance of intention. I mean, I'm very much into living intentionally, but you talk about the importance of intention when it comes to beginning, a healing journey. Why is that first step so powerful? And how can women start reconnecting with themselves even before working with somebody like yourself?
yes, so as a shamanic healer or even hypno coach, we are just creating the space for healing. So the work has always to be done by the person. If not, it's not a healing, it's something else. It's a codependence relationship or whatsoever. And we can move into that now and then, right? Because people sometimes they need more help initially, and then they can get resources and be able to self-help themselves. But again, this is something I learned by my own experience. I realized that whenever I was setting the intention to go for a shamanic healing, the healing was starting to come to me as an information of something which was shifting in my life. So when I was going to the shamanic healer, it was like almost like he was just signing on that healing and that process. So it's almost how it works. And as well, we can look at the intention from the perspective of the free will. So I think there's nothing, not a bigger law in the universe than the law of the free will. So even if we have the feeling that we took power over someone or we influenced someone in a way or another, so we are really in the creation and in the life where the free will of that being is fully respected. So that's when you truly accomplish things. So that's where sustainable things happen, where permanence happens. Anything else is just a temporary win on the situation. And this applies so much in the shamanic healing. We cannot really heal the person in a safe way, but also healthy way in which the healing pertains to the person, and that we don't get into that healing process and everything. So this cannot happen in a balanced way if that free will is not there. Sometimes it's 1% of that person to realize, to become aware of what she needs to do, what she needs to know in order that healing really to take place. So we can offer the 90% of it, but if that 1% is missed from the person intent and the real will, then it takes a little bit of a time for that person to receive fully that healing and to see really an important shift in her life.
So we've got to want.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. So I mean, essentially, you've got to want it.
Absolutely, but want it not in the how to say, the day-to-day way, right? So sometimes the person needs really to understand something or to want it truly from her heart. To really have tried everything and really to be decided, because sometimes if we don't get the solution and the result, it's because really we are not ready, because with that healing, there's a process of letting go. We are letting go of many things when we are healing, because we are entering in a new life, a new way of functioning as well. And we may encounter new people. So we need to make space for that. And the making space is through the letting go of many things, which sometimes are very dear to us as well.
That's true. Many of our listeners are going through reinvention, scaling businesses, changing careers, or stepping into new leadership positions. How can the inner healing really support women during these big life transitions and transformations?
I think we cannot do or survive those big transformations if we don't do inner work. It's very destabilizing. So it's a way to find our roots and to go through that process. And I know how hard it is to find the time. But if we come back to the intention, so if we set the intention, if we really want it, it's almost like the time expands and we find the opportunity or the moment. The healing can come even on the street from someone who talks to us and who says a sentence to us. So there's so many ways. It's just to pay attention and to allow the connection to come to us. So we are connected also with the nature, with other human beings. So through that connection, we can connect with ourselves as well.
And Adina, in your experience, what's been maybe the most powerful transformation that you've witnessed in someone after doing that deep inner healing work with them?
So I recently started this practice of hypno coaching, and I did a few sessions with a young lady. She went through many years of hypnotherapy or psychotherapy, um, and I created such a space. In fact, even through sharing, right, my own resonance with her own stories, that she's been able to go very deep and to realize, after she was mentioning over 10 years of therapy, she's been able to come back in very traumatic events and kind of accepting parts of herself she denied. So she was experiencing in the real life. She experienced many events and many physical symptoms, and she resolved that through 3 hypno coaching sessions, but which were focused on resonating with the person, creating that safe space for her to open up, and as well, follow her in her real life journey. So it's even through reading her life map and helping herself to find that point in life where she decided that she's not good enough and that's not her life. She's been able to take her power back and really start anew.
They say that the highest form of self-love is self-acceptance. I think that that's a really interesting clue as well, isn't it? The importance of acceptance is often where our freedom comes, and often we want to wrestle the reality rather than accept it.
Yes, because this is such an insidious as well concept we have. So self-love may sound selfish, and I think that's the first blockage when it comes as well to self-acceptance. And through self-acceptance, we can establish as well healthy boundaries. So it creates space for ourselves and for the others in our life. So self-love is such a key step in the healing or in the progress in every aspect of our life. And I'm still learning about it. I'm still discovering that I'm stopping myself or I'm judging myself in some aspects. And when we practice on a daily life that hygiene of connecting with ourselves, we start to peel the onion and to realize one by one those places in our life where there is no self-love and self-acceptance. And I'm a dreamer, and it's very interesting because this information came to me as well in a dream at some point in life. So it was like I was visited by my mom, but my mom, it was myself. And she came and she visited in a particular place. She saw all the people, but she didn't came to see myself. And I was like, wow, my mom came to see me, and she came here and she didn't have the time to see me. And then I realized, in fact, how much I was not listening to myself and how much the call and the expectation and the need for love was there inside me. So
It's a beautiful story. I think it's interesting that you can either dismiss the fact that self-love isn't selfish, or actually, for me, I think the opportunity is to either redefine what selfish actually means, or even accept the fact that you're selfish, but paint it in a way that actually isn't a negative. Like, I actually enjoy being selfish because I can only turn up in my best self when I've taken care of me. You know,
Absolutely.
even a father to my kids, they know
Mhm.
it's not smart to wake me up if I'm sleeping. You know, because if they wake me up, then I'm grumpy, I'm grouchy, it impacts them. But if they let me sleep, if they let me replenish, then I can show up and turn up. And you know, that's the way that I see it. I actually like being selfish. And yet I'm very
Yes.
generous.
It's exactly like in the airplanes. They are
Mm.
saying put your mask first and then
That's
help
it.
the others. So if we remember that, we'll always know how to practice self-love and self-acceptance to ourselves.
Exactly.
Our body knows what it needs, and if we stop and listen, then we can help the others as well. And it's very interesting because when we practice self-love and self-acceptance, there's so many blockages which are removed in our own life. So it's not only we are able to help the others, but we enter somehow in a creation mode. So what we wish comes to us because we don't block it anymore. So ourselves and in a state of self-love, we are divine beings. So we can create our life. And we are creating, in fact, our life, but we are creating it out of hurt, out of programs. We think that's how it's supposed to be or how it's done and things like that. But in this world, and that's another learning I had for myself, because I've been pushed into that. We have to reclaim our individuality, because through doing that, we can connect with the others. We promote, there's various aspects of being inclusive, diversity, and things like that. And I'm 100% even beyond for that, because it teaches us a very respectful way of being. But at the same time, we need to be attentive as well of accepting the diversity, and checking our biases on our everyday life. It exists in every one of us. And so through accepting that diversity, we allow individuals to reclaim their individuality and that self-acceptance and that self-love, and we allow them to grow and to be creative beings and to create out of the gifts they bring to into this life. So there's so much learning. I think we are entering in this era, even in these challenging times. If we think, and for people who saw La Vita è Bella, that's an example of it. Even in the most challenging times, if we reclaim our individuality, if we self-accept ourselves, we can create the life we want, and we always can create the life we want, no matter what happens around us. So that gives us even like a feeling of hope, and it brings our resilience in challenging times. There's so many beautiful places in the world. We are focalized and focused on a particular place, on a particular culture, particular country. But it's so interesting to discover how many cultures are out there and how much learning and how much opportunities for creating beautiful life and beautiful way of beings, which respect growth and creation and community and individuality as well.
Amazing. Adina, it's been great to chat with you on the Female CEO podcast. How can people find out more about you?
I have a website, arahealing.com, where anyone can come and connect with me. And I'm looking forward, happy to offer anytime a discovery session, to get to know each other and to see what fits best for that respective person which would like to connect with me.
Thank you for joining me on today's episode. It's been wonderful to have you.
Thank you for your time, Mark.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Female CEO podcast. created by the female CEO Create, Evolve, Overcome. This podcast amplifies women's voices, stories, and lived experience. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our YouTube channel, and discover more at thefemaleceo.com.